morning, everybody. Today we're going for a hike on the Appalachian Trail. We'll be hiking from the Yellow Mountain Gap out to Big Hump Mountain and back. This hike will be a total of a little more than 9.5 miles. The Hump Mountains are two spectacular Appalachian peaks and mark the northern extremity of the Roan Islands along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. The peak's primary claims to fame are the expansive grassy bald environments which cover their summits and much of the surrounding ridge tops. This is truly one of the most naturally beautiful places in the southern Appalachians. We will begin our journey today here at the junction of Roaring Creek Road and Highway 19E in North Carolina. We will travel up Roaring Creek Road about 3 miles, where it will become a single-lane gravel road for the last mile to the parking lot. This area in these mountains is the homeland of my ancestors, and this is a hike I have made many times, but I never get tired of going back and seeing it again. We are parked at the trailhead, and let's put on the pack and head out to Yellow Mountain Gap. This part of the trail usually takes about 20-25 minutes. We have reached a juncture now where we leave the road and take this spur trail up into the woods where we will join the Appalachian Trail. We have reached the intersection of the Over Mountain Trail, which runs east-west, and the Appalachian Trail, which runs north-south. When we leave here, we'll head north on the Appalachian Trail. If you are unfamiliar with the important history of the Sycamore Shoals militia and their successful campaign at Kings Mountain in the War for Independence, I would encourage you to research this subject. This 20-minute climb from Yellow Mountain Gap is probably one of the most strenuous sections of this hike. This is a look back east, back at Rock Creek where we started. We can see the Roan Highlands there to the south and the Blue Ridge Mountains of western North Carolina to the east. Once we reach the top of the ridge, the trail becomes a pleasant walk in the woods for the next 20 minutes. After about an hour into the hike, the trees part and you leave the woods, and suddenly you enter a totally different world, the world of the high elevation balls. Here we come to another split in the trail. The right goes over to Big Yellow Mountain Ball, the left continues over Little Hump Mountain. This beautiful boulder field is about halfway up to the summit of Little Hump Mountain. Some types of rocks found up here are among the oldest found on the North American continent. In the distance here you can see the Black Mountain Range and Mount Mitchell. The Appalachian Mountains were formed from a series of plate tectonic shifting and continents colliding beginning over 1 billion years ago. In their prime, these mountains had peaks as high as the Himalayas and the Alps in Europe. Over the last 100 million years, erosion has reduced these mountains to a little over 6,000 feet. The North Carolina-Tennessee state line runs pretty much across the summit of these mountains, and to the left of Big Hump Mountain we're looking at over into Tennessee side. From the summit of Little Hump Mountain, the trail goes back into the woods and meanders around for about 30 minutes until you reach Bradley Gap. This spring is the only reliable source of water between the two Hump Mountains. We are now leaving the woods again and approaching Bradley Gap, which is located about halfway between the two Hump Mountains. Gray's lily was discovered here. It's an endangered species. It's only found in these local mountains. My great-grandmother used to tell us stories of walking across this gap to visit relatives in North Carolina. During the hike up Big Hump Mountain, we're going to see more of these beautiful, unusual, and ancient rock formations. In the distance, you can clearly see Table Rock Mountain, Hawksbill Mountain, and the Linville Gorge Wilderness area. Again, this is looking back at the trail and mountains that we've come over. That's Little Hump Mountain there in green. The Roan Highlands are in blue there. And the Unaka Mountains further around to the right. We are now about 3/4 of the way to the summit of Big Hump Mountain. It will be an open, grassy ball from here to the top. Looking east at Grandfather Mountain, and I think I read it is like 11 miles as the crow flies from here. On the far horizon, we are looking toward White Top Mountain and Mount Rogers in Virginia. Looking northwest, you can get a glimpse of Watauga Lake off in the distance. Elizabethton and Johnson City, Tennessee would be off on the horizon here.